Hey, Tony, great battle last week, man. That was awesome.
It was great because you won. No, but it reminded me back in the old days. I mean, we raced side by side. Hopefully the fans love it. We got the best out of it. Probably going to make sure that doesn't happen this weekend.
Well, wait. We're here in South Boston now.
Right.
So, forget about the race. And then after the race, we should go to Boston, just around the corner. And look, I bought some shirts here. Yep. So we don't look like locals.
Boston, you mean like the biggest Brazilian population outside Brazil?
We can rice and beans. Our people, you know what I'm talking
Like Boston, Massachusetts.
Yes, Boston, just around the corner.
Yeah, okay. Before the race?
No.
After the race?
After the race, yeah.
You want to drive 10 hours?
No, it's Boston. It's just around
It's
the corner.
South Boston, Virginia.
No, you check.
Hey guys, I'm Peyton Sellers.
Hey, man.
That's my billboard up there. I brought you guys some real cuisine, bologna burgers.
What?
Now I'm gonna give you guys a ride around. Hang on.
Says he brought like Grandstand over there. He paid for it?
Drivers, start your engines! Watch me.
Here we go. Buckle up. It's season 2 of the Superstar Racing Experience. This place is fast. It can be mean.
Final lap. Who will take the checkered flag?
What a finish. A feature win. A dream come true. Castroneves wins.
Superstar Saturday night.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh man, this is going to be fun.
Come on.
Who gets the jump? They're still bumping and banging.
You're good.
We're not done yet.
Are you ready to light this thing up? Watch me.
You've got to love seeing last week's winner, IndyCar's Elio Castroneves, and IndyCar champion Tony Kanaan getting familiar with the local flavor. We are in Virginia at the historic South Boston Speedway, where many legends have sunk their teeth into those famous bologna burgers, where racers have been cutting their teeth for years. With that, we say welcome to the Camping World SRX series on CBS. We are so excited tonight to be bringing you the action here from South Boston. We are ready to go. This, by the way, is where they're celebrating their 65th anniversary this year. It's time to get things started. Tonight, we are turning to the fans for the command to start engines. Are you ready? When I count to 3, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to give the most famous words in racing. 1, 2, 3. Alongside Connor Daly. Guys, I can tell you it feels a lot cooler than it did last week, but I know things are still going to be heated out on that racetrack.
Yeah, we're going to have a little Saturday night short track grind tonight, Lindsay. Thank you much. I hold in my hand, through the magic of television, an example of our purpose-built 700 horsepower SRX racing machines. Connor, you had a chance to drive one of these on that speedway today. What are we looking for tonight?
It was a very exciting few laps around the track. Only 6, but I love driving anything with wheels. And so this track, a little bit different from last weekend, a little bit shorter. But also, everyone is saying the tires will last a lot longer here as well. So I did a lot of talking with my hands afterwards to describe how it felt. But these guys are in for a great show tonight. I think we're going to see a lot of usage of the bumper to move people out of the way.
I think there's going to be a lot of contact in this racing tonight. Inside wall, outside wall. If there's trouble, there's no place to go to get away from it.
It becomes very narrow very quickly, which I thought was actually quite interesting. The turns are very wide, and you think you have a lot of room. And so when you get on power, there's a lot of horsepower in these cars. And so when you get on the gas, start sliding that rear up, the wall comes quite quickly, and there's no safer barrier. It's all concrete here. Yeah, so that's old school.
A lot of the drivers over the years have learned about this racetrack that it's faster than it appears to be. It's only 0.4 of a mile, a little less than a half mile, a little less than last week's track in Pensacola, Florida. but it's fast for that little bull ring.
Absolutely. What I found most interesting, I think, as an open wheel guy, we saw in practice that the NASCAR stars were the fastest, and all the IndyCar guys were a little bit lower down the field than usual. So I think it's definitely more of a NASCAR type facility, NASCAR track, and so it'll be very curious to see how the IndyCar guys adjust as the races go on.
All right, so our field of 12 superstars ready to go tonight. Starting order for this first heat, drawn at random. Bobby Labonte picks pole position.
Bobby Labonte, the most experienced driver here at this track, actually. A lot of the guys have not seen it at all, but there are a couple people who have maybe done a few laps. Bobby's done the most.
There's the Indy 500 winner, Ryan Hunter-Reay. The local all-star is Peyton Seller, a 6-time track champion here. We'll tell you more about him shortly, but he will certainly be one to watch as we go through the night tonight.
It was great chatting with him earlier. He's got an incredible amount of experience here, and what an awesome night yet again for a local superstar to get to compete against some of the biggest names in motorsport.
Tony Kanaan, Elio Castroneves starting toward the back of the field tonight. What a thrill they gave us racing for the win at Five Flag Speedway a week ago. All right, as the field rolls from the grid, let's pick up the radio and who are you going to talk to?
Paul Tracy, it's Connor Daly up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, brother. Loud and clear.
Paul, I know you sent me a text this week saying that you wanted to shout at some people right out the gate before the race even started. So what do we have to say to your competitors? Who are we going after tonight? How do we get to the front?
I'll tell you what, Connor. I came into this season wanting to be the kinder, nicer Paul Tracy. And I got kicked around last week like a damn soccer ball, so I'm not having any of it this week. And I've been angry all week. I've been training hard. I've been talking with you. If I got to put a bulldozer front end on this thing tonight, I'm going to do what it takes.
Well, I hope me being faster than you in practice this morning makes you even more angry. So I hope you can get out there, get to the front, and show us what you're made of.
We got a lot of laps to run on these tires, so hopefully we get a couple good average finishes and be positioned up towards the front and get after it in the race.
Well, thanks, pal. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, brother.
So PT's got the chrome horn sharpened up, and you've got the needle going right off the top. I like it. It's going to be a fun night. Let's check for a couple of reports down on pit road before the green flag, and we bring in the one, the only, Willie T. Ridge. Willie, what you got?
Alan, last weekend was one of the hottest races on record. I talked to Walt Tripp, I talked to Stewart, I talked to Elliott. They were whipped. They looked like Gumby when they got out of the car. But they're going to do it again tonight. Back to you, MY.
Well, Willie, when you look at Elio Castroneves, the last back-to-back Indy 500 champion and looking to sweep the first two races of SRX 2022. Now, Elio, no one did more homework a year ago trying to score a trophy, and he's kept that same work ethic this year. In fact, he reached out to local NASCAR stars, doing a little bit of trade secrets. When Elliott Sadler, who cut his racing team here, he picked up a few trends to keep an eye out for to try to score another trophy, but he told me his secret weapon early on might be an old Penske teammate. Starting alongside in that final row is Ryan Newman. I'm going to let Newman be the bulldog and open the hole. We work our way to the front.
That could be fun. That could be fun to watch, Matt, as the field comes to the start-finish line. And they'll get the signal from the starter stand in one more lap. We'll go green. Remember, the format for the night, same as it's been. Heats 1 and 2 are 12-minute timed races. The main event here is going to be 100 laps. Finish of Heat 1 inverted for the start of Heat 2. And the average finish of the two heat races determines the grid for the main event. Look at this crowd. They have packed them in today here in South Central Virginia. These people love their racing, and they have been, since they announced that SRX would come here, anxious and excited about this night. They showed up early today, and they're going to make a lot of noise all night long.
And you know what? There's a fireworks show, and that's the best sign of promoter racing. That means we're about to see some of the best racing that we could ever see on Saturday night.
Bobby Labonte in the white car, Greg Biffle in the gold, lead the field of 12 off of turn number 4 to the green flag at South Boston, Virginia.
Great start lineup there. That was very, very in order. It was very, very impressive. But Biffle with the jump on the outside lane. That's very impressive.
Greg Biffle with the early lead. Labonte is just behind him. Marco Andretti squeezes up in front of Ryan Hunter-Reay for third. Hunter-Reay with him side by side behind him.
I think you already saw in lap 1 how quick that wall gets to the drivers in turn 4. It looked like a couple guys might have scraped it already, and that'll happen all night.
It's tight here. This is tight. Here's Marco Andretti with a look for second place underneath Bobby Labonte in turn 2. Andretti in orange.
Marco once more. I spent a couple days at his house after the race last weekend, and I know he's hungry for a win here tonight. He's been really fast. He waited a little bit too long last weekend before he started his charge forward, and I know he's going to be fighting for it tonight.
So Marco to second place. Bobby Labonte back to third. Ryan Hunter-Reay in fourth, and working on him there in that red car, fifth in line, is the local all-star Peyton Sellers. Sellers is a 38-year-old from nearby Danville, Virginia. He's a 6-time track champion here. He's a 2-time NASCAR National Short Track champion. They add up points of all the NASCAR-sanctioned short tracks across America. He's been the best in the nation twice, including a season ago. And he is a huge local hero here in South Boston.
It was really interesting talking to him earlier, though, because he's got so much experience here, but the first thing he said was like, oh, I don't like how this car drives. And so that's a true racing driver right there. I think he's going to be getting used to this thing just like a lot of these other drivers, but you know that he's got the experience here. He knows what happens when the sun goes down. He knows where the track grips up a little bit, and he'll be fun to watch.
Change of position just behind him. Tony Stewart just got a spot on Ernie Francis Jr. Francis Jr. just got the back end, kind of stepped out on him in the corner, and Stewart was right there and made the jump for the spot.
I've seen a lot of these cars moving around, especially Ryan Hunter-Reay. I think he's still getting used to these cars for sure. And again, you got to be careful with the tires. What's it going to be like later? How's it going to be towards the end of this heat, and even in the next heat as well?
A little nudge toward the back of the field as Ryan Newman tries to make his way forward and get some progress.
That was bigger than a nudge. He almost moved Tony Kanaan straight up into the wall. I love it.
While up front, it's still Greg Biffle and Marco Andretti in first and second spots. Here's Andretti in orange, Bobby Labonte in white. Bobby started on pole for this event. First time he started on pole in anything SRX. Of course, that's drawn by random.
Bobby Labonte is going to be very, very smart tonight. You know he's got the experience here. He's an absolute legend all across the board. And I don't see him moving Marco out of the way, but if he does, I mean, that's not car racing.
Things happen. And as you said, it might be the way you got to make progress in this field tonight. And yellow flag is out in our first heat race here at South Boston. This is a fun flag. We'll double them up and restart them again. And smile at the action we get. That's coming right back from South Boston, Virginia.
Less at Camping World. Right now, get a new Coleman Lantern 17B, this camping starter kit, 2 years of Good Sam Road Rescue, and a 3-year Good Sam RV warranty for just $149 a month. That's less than $5 a day. Plus, we have the best selection of camping and RV supplies, starting at just $9.99. We've got an RV for every lifestyle and a payment for every budget. Camping has never been more affordable. You always camp for less at Camping World. Click, call, or come into your local Camping World today.
This summer, dinosaurs are in our world.
Pet dinosaur? I'll take care of you. Nice and quiet.
Hey, look, it's your mom.
Hot dog?
Let your queries be known.
How come we don't call ourselves bikers anymore? I mean, riders is cool, but bikers, really cool.
Seriously? Deny. Can we go back to meeting at the rec center? The commute here is brutal. Deny.
How do we feel about getting a quote to see if we can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer?
Should Flo stop asking the same question every time?
Approved.
Denied.
Whoa.
Can I get it Mike's way? What's happening?
And your free sub. Enjoy.
Hey. That was super weird.
Oh, that? Nah. She just used the shore points you can now earn from chip and drink purchases to get free sub through the app. Download the Jersey Mike's app and earn rewards towards free subs with every sub, Pepsi, and Lay's you purchase.
Superstar Saturday night on CBS with the Camping World SRX Series from South Boston, Virginia. And the second of our 6 races across this summer. Winding up the first caution flag and heat number 1 tonight. They'll double them up. Greg Biffle is going to lead them to the restart.
And who learned the most in that short little sprint towards the first flag, a little yellow flag? So I'm very curious to see who goes super aggressive and who hits who first.
You mentioned your pal Marco Andretti in that orange car. How aggressive can he be with Greg Biffle in the gold car on this restart? Here they come to the green flag.
Great start right around the outside of Biffle. Exactly what Biffle did to Bobby Labonte at the start of the race. So there, he's using his eyes. He's learning. He's a very smart man.
Hunter Ray gets in front of Labonte for third spot in the black car. Bobby beaten all over the back bumper of the Hunter Ray machine as Tony Stewart comes up to the outside of Labonte in the red car. So that's for 4th place.
Great side-by-side racing here, honestly. A lot of people were a bit nervous about how good these cars were going to be side-by-side at this slightly tighter track than last weekend. And again, on that onboard shot, you just see how close they get to the wall every single time exiting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's very, very, very tight here.
Let's check downstairs with Matt.
And unlike a week ago, the temperatures were just so hot, we won't be changing tires tonight during the event. These guys know the tires will be there at the end. Track conditions right now, we're in a transition. Going from the heat of the day, it's cooling off. It's going to be much grippier in the next 5 to 15 minutes.
Grippier, a racing word you'll only find.
That is exact racing terminology. Beautiful move, though, by Bobby. He's obviously spent years racing against Tony Stewart. He knows how to race him. And Tony was a guy that last weekend we did not talk about as much as I expected. I mean, Tony's a legend and everything, but he had a tough weekend, so you know he's going to want to have a great comeback.
Banging together, Biffle underneath Andretti for the race lead.
Bull rubbing his racing right there. Greg Biffle fired it down the inside. Got to respect that move.
Marco trying to cross over. Can't quite get to that left rear corner. So Greg Biffle back out front.
Greg Biffle and everyone else in this field are going to be doing that all night. Use the bumper, get into the side of the car in front of you. Not enough to put them in the wall, but just move them out of the way a little bit.
That is our augmented reality from on board Greg Biffle's car. You can see the revolutions, the miles per hour. Even though it's a tight little track, you still got triple digits on the speedometer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, we keep saying these cars have a ton of power. I mean, these are short straights, but you're getting well over 100 miles an hour into each entry. You got to get on the brake just a little bit, but I thought my problem, open wheel drivers, we hit the brake really hard initially, and I think the real stuff, we got a little bit too much rubbing and racing.
Trying to get underneath Ryan Hunter Ray for third spot. Good save by Hunter Ray. Labonte's going to force his way through. Here comes down to the inside, Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart, the classic 2 for 1. We love a good deal when we see one, and he just cashed in right there.
So Tony Stewart up to third. Watch Ernie Francis and Ryan Newman. Francis on the outside, Newman saying, "Excuse me, I'm coming through."
That's what we're going to see all night, and I love it. I am ready for it.
And this is Bobby Labonte. Hunter Ray tried to close the door. Bobby was in there, not only made that save, but got the spot.
That is about as sideways as you get without spinning out. So incredible car control there. Both guys at full slip angle almost, and Tony Stewart sneaking his way through. That's I'm excited for the rest of the night if we're already at this point.
That's fun. So Greg Biffle, our race leader, has already led more today than all of the NASCAR drivers did last week at Five Flags in Pensacola. Very much an IndyCar driver-dominated show last Saturday.
Yeah, very interesting, and I think that is the shortness of this track. These, the NASCAR guys, a lot of these guys grew up racing short tracks, racing cars very similar with a power and weight ratio like this. And Tony, on one of his good pals, Marco Andretti, he's probably not going to sit back and wait around for Marco very long. I think he's probably going to get a little forceful here very soon.
About a minute and a half laps left in this timed 12-minute heat race number 1.
Interesting line differences there between Tony and Marco. Marco is very much doing a V-shaped line in the corner, which is kind of go in, stop the thing on the nose, and accelerate really hard out. And Tony's got a bit of a different philosophy, so it's kind of cool to see two drivers from wildly different backgrounds having two interesting different styles.
What makes you take that different style? Your background?
Well, every driver is different. Every driver has a way that they like to get the grip to the front tires. A lot of people use the brake. A lot of people try to get off the throttle early and let the rear rotate the car. And it's just a matter of what you like, what you think is fastest. And every driver is right. I can promise you that in our own minds. So.
I understand. Well, the best mover in this heat race so far has been both Tony Stewart and Ryan Newman. They've each moved up 5 spots. There is Stewart, took the green flag in 8th, running in 3rd behind Marco Andretti as we get to the final half minute or so. That's good for a couple of laps here at South Boston. There's a little nudge on the bumper. Stewart on Andretti.
Does Tony go for the last lap pass? We're coming to the white flag now. We'll see if he fires it in there.
A couple of sets of corners to go. There's Marco up the track a little bit. Stewart to his inside, looking for turn 3.
Big washout by Marco Andretti there, and Tony took advantage of it.
Stewart forces him up the racetrack to the checkered flag. Greg Biffle wins the heat, and Andretti and Stewart make more contact after the checkered flag.
Everyone loves a little post-race contact. That was awesome.
That was fun. Greg Biffle, his 3rd heat win in SRX competition. The native of the Portland, Oregon area is on the board tonight here in South Central Virginia. Good start to our Superstar Saturday night.
On CBS Sports is sponsored by Fram, trusted since 1934, and by Progressive. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance.
South Boston, Virginia, nestled on the border of North Carolina, just over 200 miles from the District of Columbia. All right, here are your results for Heat 1. It was Greg Biffle on top, followed by Tony Stewart, and then Marco Andretti. As we saw, car control was key. We've learned something about our new teammate, Willie T. Ribbs. Willie was always tough to keep up with on the racetrack. Turns out the same is true in life. Sometimes it's just hard to locate him. So we thought you guys could help us out. Find out where Willie T. is now.
Word has it, there's a man named J.B. Bailey. He's been coming to this race in South Boston, Virginia since 1963. I'm going to talk to him. Where we at?
J.B. Bailey.
J.B. Bailey.
Willie T. Ribbs. What are you doing, man? What's happening?
Yes, sir. I'm here to talk about you.
Yes, sir.
Right?
All right.
1963 was your first gig here?
Yes. I was actually born in 1957, the same year that South Boston Speedway was born.
The same year the track opened?
Same year.
And they haven't changed it to Bailey Speedway?
I don't know what's wrong with these people, but that's all right.
I'm going to call my lawyer on that.
I love South Boston Speedway, and this area is home. I've been to California, I've been to New York, whatever. I would rather go to South Boston than any of those places, and certainly South Boston Speedway. And you can't beat the bologna burgers.
Yeah, I'm not heading back to Texas until I get one.
No, you can fill up on those.
Yeah. Hey, you see this? Bologna burgers. They're famous here, and me and JB, for his 59th year here, are having some. And I'm going to eat mine. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
You go ahead and eat. Go ahead and eat.
What do you think of the race?
Everything is great. Look, I got a great life. I got Jesus as my Savior. I got my grandson here. I got a bologna burger. And I'm talking to Willie T. Ribbs.
and we're going to eat them. Lindsay, back to you, babe.
Willie T., that was awesome. Hey, making the turn now, Beavis and Butthead are back. Witness the dumbest science fiction movie ever made, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. You can find it now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus. NASCAR driver Ryan Ryan Newman considers his win in the 2008 Daytona 500 among the biggest wins of his career. Newman, in fact, collected that race car, and it's part of his car collection, something that he was willing to lift the veil on and show behind the scenes to our Matt Yoakum.
My collection, it's more about the classics. It's not about the muscle cars. There's nothing in here that's 700 horsepower. There's nothing in here that's got big old fat tires. The late 50s, early 60s, I think, were spectacular. This is one of my projects, which is actually coming along, believe it or not. It just takes some time. It's a 36 4.3 window coupe, and I have the end goal here. So we're getting there, but it's going to be a little while. The Roadster over here, 28 Ford Roadster, is my very first hot rod. I've had it for years. Pretty cool car, all steel, flathead, Offenhauser heads. You know, everything's pretty correct, really cool. This is my very first car. Not my very first race car, but my first passenger car. So this is a 1974 Triumph TR6. My grandfather had a stroke, was going to sell it. And my dad says, well, why don't you give it to your grandson for his birthday? So I got it prior to my 16th birthday. My dad and I restored it, which makes it even more special. There's no price tag on this car. There's no, I mean, you can never offer me any amount of money. It doesn't matter. So here you've got a little bit of everything. Open wheel wise in my racing career. The black and white one here is a rigid quarter midget. That was my very first quarter midget. This one here I won the Grands with, which has my daughter's name on it now because she practiced it, and my dad knew that if she was going to practice it, she needed to have her name on it. So back when I raced quarter midgets, you had to make a minimum weight to be in the class that I was in. So in other words, if you were in, let's say, light mod, but you were the heaviest guy in light mod, that was a disadvantage. But if you were the lightest guy in heavy mod, that was an advantage. What we ended up doing was my dad made lead inserts inside my shoes. I guess he figured out he had to hinge it in order for me to walk. Some good duct tape back in the day. A lot of history here from my racing open wheel days, which is very special to me because if I didn't do well in this, I would have never climbed the rest of the ladder to get to where I did. So you got to see my open wheel cars. This is where all that led to. So this is 02, 03. This is my very first win car at Loudon. This is a car that ended up being raced later, but my Richmond win car from 2003. It's cool for me to have a piece of the things that have made me, at least from a fan's perspective, who I am. And then all that kind of led to this, which was the car that most people don't understand why I have, because in the end it was a bad day, but it was also a good day.
That car symbolizes a lot. There is much more to Ryan Newman's journey in racing and life. Later, you'll hear that unbelievable comeback story after one of the scariest moments on the racetrack. Stay with us. More racing to come. Superstar Saturday Night presents the Camping World SRX Series. We are ready for Heat 2, so let's go to the booth. Alan Bestwick and Connor Daly. Guys, take it away.
All right, Linz, thanks. So we invert the finish from Heat number 1, and you'll see the starting grid for Heat number 2 roll across the bottom of your screen. Paul Tracy and Elio Castroneves will lead the field from this front row. Castroneves made a visit to pit lane between this first and second heat to look to get a little tune-up on his car, see if he can maybe beef up the handling a little bit.
Yes, and you know what's exciting about this front row? I believe one of them thinks that he won the 2002 Indy 500 over the other. So I think there's always some heat between these two guys, and it's going to be great to see them duel it out once again.
And just by way of letting everyone in on the story, Paul Tracy feels like he was the winner of that Indianapolis 500. Elio Castroneves won the race, has the trophy, has the ring, and climbed the fence.
I was there. I saw it as a child.
Here we go. So it's Tracy and Castroneves, Michael Waltrip and Tony Kanaan, Ernie Francis Jr. and Ryan Newman with the local all-star Peyton Sellers lined up 7th. Greg Biffle, the winner, and Tony Stewart, the runner-up of Heat 1, are all the way at the back for this green flag.
Fascinating to see finally someone make the inside lane work. Paul had a great run into turn 1, muscled Elio out of the way, and we'll see if he was just saving his tires there in Heat 1. Maybe now is the time to attack.
Castroneves with a little peek to the inside while Ryan Newman begins to work that outside lane. Newman came all the way from the back in that first heat, midway up through the pack, and here he is already peeking around toward the front.
Newman has definitely been one of the most impressive guys so far tonight. We've already seen the bumper being used by Elio. He's got to try to stick to the inside of Newman there so he doesn't lose that position. But Ryan seems to be able to make the top side work, which is really impressive.
I just saw Ryan Newman's car collection. I wonder if he knows that if he wins an SRX race, he can't keep the car. I'm
sure he would figure out a way to, because he has a lot of vehicles, and I'm actually quite jealous.
Ryan, the second place, and do stick around for the rest of that story of that mangled race car and why Ryan keeps it in his possession.
This is a fantastic battle. I can see Ryan getting quite aggressive with Paul Tracy here. Paul needs to stay out front as much as he can, though, because every position counts when it comes to the starting grid for later this evening.
Change for fifth position. Ernie Francis Jr. just got around Michael Waltrip. Paul Tracy last Saturday night led 11 laps of Heat 1 at Five Flags Speedway. He said in the main event he just burned the tires off it.
Which is very easy to do.
12th.
Yeah, because once you burn the tires off, you never get it back. This is a great look at both drivers' heart rates. I also wear a Whoop wristband. I wear it in every race. These guys are working hard out here tonight, and it's great to see that.
Compared to someone like yourself driving an Indy car, those heart rates are?
I mean, they're high. Mine is a little higher, but that might be for many other reasons. But these guys have a little bit of power steering. We don't in the Indy cars. So it's a little bit more physical load, but I promise you, it's hot and hard work in those cars right now.
Tracy with Newman right behind him. Then in third place, Castroneves defending Tony Kanaan, who took a peek underneath him. Remember the side-by-side race those two countrymen from Brazil put on for the win in last week's race down in Pensacola.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an IndyCar fan and you see Tony Kanaan and Elio Castroneves going side by side, I mean, that's just such a fantastic thing to see.
Ernie Francis Jr.'s got the visor cam on for us tonight. He's looking ahead at the front four.
Such a great view of what's going on inside the car. Ernie, again, one of those guys, had a really tough first weekend, but we know he's extremely talented, and he wants to have a good comeback weekend tonight.
Michael Waltrip might have had a nip at the back bumper of Francis there when he shot up out of the bottom lane just a little bit.
Michael Waltrip is sliding around like crazy. He's getting after it tonight.
Bobby Labonte right behind Waltrip in the white car, and then Marco Andretti in orange. Tony Stewart just tried to use the apron off turn number 4. Those two red cars side by side, Stewart and Sellers. Watch if he does it this time through turn number 4. Stewart had all 4 wheels down by that yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack. Only put 2 of them down there this time.
I really like that about this track, because you have the yellow line, and that kind of basically designates this is where the track should be. But if there's extra space to use, drivers will always find it, especially if it helps that car turn a little bit.
Let's talk about the local hero, Peyton Sellers, with Matt Yoakum.
Combo ladder as far as strategy goes for Sellers, Alan. Sellers told me that basically the trend that always you see here in South Boston is you've got to come in with a clear mindset because you've got to do everything almost reverse. You see like Stewart running the bottom. Here in South Boston, you want to drift up as the night goes on because that's where the grip will slowly move up to the high side. He said that's where you'll see the fast guys running later in the race. Right now, he's trying to make it work, but everybody's down on the bottom.
A lot to learn. This car does not perform anything here like his NASCAR late model stock car does that he has thousands of laps in here at South Boston Speedway. Change of position is Bobby Labonte and Marco Andretti have moved past Michael Waltrip. Michael just got shuffled to the outside. You see he's lost 3 spots and he's about to lose another as Greg Biffle forces his way to the inside of Waltrip.
Yeah, there's a term in racing we like to use sometimes called getting freight trained, and that's what just happened to Michael Waltrip. He got stuck up top, and every single car that got to his inside got by him because there was no room for him to slide down. So that was a wild move.
Little contact for second. Castroneves tries to move Ryan Newman up out of the groove in 3 and 4. They're side by side.
Oh, a little wheel-to-wheel door banging there. Ryan Newman, his reputation is the hardest man in NASCAR to pass. Elio got the job done. That was impressive.
Castroneves to second, Newman to third, Kanaan in 4th. Check this out.
This is great racing. Elio getting on the power, sliding that rear up a little bit, and just making sure that Ryan knows. I'll slay her, pal. that's exactly how you want to do it. Just get to the corner, get them a little bit out of shape, and then use the next corner to assert yourself, as they would say.
That freight train thing you mentioned may be about to happen to Ernie Francis Jr. just behind this group of four. Bobby Labonte's got to Ernie's inside, and Marco Andretti is right there with him.
Marco knew he had to get to the rear bumper of Bobby Labonte to continue getting by Ernie Francis. And this is fantastic racing, honestly. Clean enough to where we're not... Oh, my goodness.
Castroneves and Tracy.
That could have been the most predictable thing I've ever seen. Helio Castroneves and Paul Tracy making contact. I hate that for Paul, though. He was having such a great race.
Yeah, definitely. So the yellow flag is out. And it was fun for the fans, not so fun for Paul Tracy.
Oh, boy, that was a late move, and that was pretty targeted.
You're saying he had radar lock?
I might see some fists fly later.
All right, the sparks are flying on Saturday night at South Boston.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
Make way for the first ever Chevy Silverado CR2. With Multimatic shocks, rugged 33-inch tires, and front and rear electronic locking differentials.
Dude, this is awesome, but we should get back to work. This good? Perfect.
If you're going to work remote, work remote. Find new workspaces. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
Order for a Sour Patch Kids slush float.
I'll add the Sour Patch Kids.
I'm on the ice cream.
Sonic Sour Patch Kids slush float.
Eliminating grays is as easy as combing your hair. With Just For Men Easy Comb in Color. Just twist and comb. Getting natural looking results.
Let's get this meeting started.
Has never been easier. The most men trust Just For Men.
Our passion for protecting vehicles started in 1934. And we've been pushing the limits of performance ever since. We innovate with the times and have the trusted filters to fit your needs. Yeah, we've been around the block, but our journey is just beginning. Fram for the road ahead. Look for us at these retailers.
Camping World SRX Series on CBS on Saturday night from South Boston, Virginia. Heat number 2, a race for the lead, went wrong and sent Paul Tracy in that lime green sheet from leading to the back of the pack.
Yeah, we just saw Elio do something very similar to Ryan Newman the lap before, but that is when you overcook it just slightly. You can't get to the exact left rear corner. You got to get into him where you can just move him and not just destroy the car like that just happened there.
So 1 to go, the signal from the starter stand. Last season, you see, in SRX competition, these two tangled twice.
I love it. I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
You're saying we haven't seen the last of this tonight.
Sad part is Paul's now got to come from the back, and he's already finished last in the first heat, so he's got a lot of work ahead of him.
Yeah, he does. So Castroneves now with Ryan Newman to his outside as we come to the restart.
Newman loves that outside lane. We see him again taking advantage of it.
Marco Andretti forces his way inside of Tony Kanaan for third as Ryan Newman goes around to the outside for the race lead.
Things are getting very aggressive out there. These cars are banging into each other like crazy right now.
Castroneves back by Newman. Whoop, Tracy just got hit by a stack up in front of him. He might have bounced off the wall slightly in turn number 2.
I saw a small ball of fire at the wall in turn 2, so I think he definitely collected a bit of the concrete.
Watch second place here. Marco Andretti in the orange car underneath Ryan Newman.
Marco Andretti having a great night so far. Strong in the first heat, already back up to the front in the second heat. I'm thinking we see some Andretti success tonight.
Marco won on the 1/4 mile Slinger Speedway in Wisconsin last summer in SRX racing. Asked him. I'll get back to that in a second. Here's Paul Tracy. Watch, they stack up in front of him.
Oh, yeah, just a victim of the situation there. That he's nothing he could have done. Nope. That's sometimes how things work out, and sadly, it has not been Paul's night.
And he is on pit road with the SRX crew looking over his machine to make sure there's no significant damage from that little bounce off the turn number 2 wall.
Marco Slinger Andretti's got about a minute left to try to get to the lead, and that would be wildly impressive if he can pull that off.
That win for Marco was his first win in a long time. I asked him, okay, but it was an SRX race. Did that do anything for you? He said, yeah, it did. You know why? I was racing against great drivers, and it told me I could still get it done.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't forget how to drive, that's for sure. And when you're in very equally prepared equipment, that's the goal of this series, right? Everyone's in the same car, all prepared equally, and you have a chance to go up against some of the best from all across the open wheel series and from all across the stock car series.
Marco running second right now, holding off Ryan Newman for that spot. Elio Castroneves continues to pace this second heat as he sees the white flag. One more lap to go.
This has been a great race tonight. I think this is only setting us up for a fantastic final, and Marco's going to have himself a great grid spot.
Yeah, for sure. After finishing third in heat number 1, Castroneves will win it, and he will finish second. And that should put him into position to be on the pole for the main event. Confirm that with USAC timing and scoring. But Elio Castroneves follows up his main event win a week ago with a heat race win tonight.
Absolutely. Elio, we did talk about the NASCAR guys being quick, but here's the IndyCar guys yet again up front.
Hey, just a minute to pay tribute to one of the legends of motorsports. All the SRX cars carrying that decal in memory of racing pioneer, visionary Bruton Smith, who passed away this Wednesday at the age of 95. He dreamed things up. He made them reality, all for the betterment of the sport and for its fans. And we remember, Bruton Smith, for all he did for the sport we love so much.
Welcome back to the Camping World SRX Series on CBS. Here's what you need to know about Heat 2, rubbing and racing, and here are your results. Last week's winner, Elio Castroneves on top. He is standing by with Matt Yoakum. Yoakum?
Lindsay, a week ago, the ambient temperature was triple digits. Tonight, the driver temperature, triple digits. I would bet Paul Tracy is not a Elio fan right now.
Wow. Yeah, the way I see it was an air racing incident. Let's put it this way.
So, looking at just the roughness, are you seeing more aggression this week?
A little bit more. People start knowing each other a little bit more, understanding what they can and what they cannot do. Back there, I was having such a hard time trying to go to outside. People keep squeezing me to the wall. I was like, aren't they using the mirror? So anyway, in the end of the day, it's very tough out there. It's still very strong. 06 car looks good in front. Well, we got to do it all again.
All right, Lindsay, it's got the same feel of a week ago when he scored that trophy. We'll see if he can pull it off later.
Thanks, Joakim. Look at that smile. All right, that's a smile, but this is not. Take a look at what happened moments ago, right after they got out of their car. Tony Stewart coming over to talk to Ernie Francis Jr., visibly upset, grabbing onto his fire suit. These two going back and forth. Tony was irate, you guys, talking to him. Willie T, I know you're standing by with Tony.
Yes, I am. I'm with SRX champ Tony Stewart. It's gotten a little rough out there, but you know this is the game. And you were like Uncle Tony to Ernie just now.
Well, they've pissed off Uncle Tony right now, so they're about ready to get a dose of it that they don't want. So trust me, I know every dirty trick and got it in my bag. I mean, when you're following somebody and a guy's on the outside and as soon as he gets clear, he just turns down across, that's the dumbest shit you can do, I swear to God. It's like, I'm just done playing nice with everybody. It's like anybody that touches me, I'm touching back ×5. So just done jacking with some of these clowns.
Well, you and Paul Tracy got some axes to grind, but that's the show. That's the show that we got here.
You're getting ready to get one hell of a show for the rest of the rest of this night and the next 4 weeks. I can promise you, because there's guys that are good friends. I mean, I love Ernie Francis. I think I'm so excited. I was so excited he got here last year. I was so excited he ran well in one IRP, and it got him a chance in an Indy Lights car, and he deserves it. He is so talented, and he's way more talented than doing the stupid shit that he just did out there, and that's probably what ticked me off the most. It's like, I try to race these guys all with respect and give them room, and we got cars we got to run the next 4 weeks in a row, and to have guys making stupid mistakes just pisses you off.
Well, my name is Bennett, and I'm not in it, so Matt, it's you now.
Well, the professor, Tony Stewart, talking about how he's one of the biggest Ernie Francis Jr. fans, but he's getting ready to serve his presence with authority, doing the multiplication by 5. So what was your side of the story with Stewart and the conversation after? Because he was voicing his opinion pretty strong.
Yeah, he came over afterwards pretty upset. I'm not gonna take that from him. I know he's the boss, but Rubin's racing out there. He got up on my inside. I didn't see him there. I was too wide with Andretti and someone else. I turned down, didn't see his car in there the last second. For him to hit me under caution, that's kind of a dirty move there. That's kind of stuff that Paul Tracy does. For him to come in and come after me and push me around after that, I'm not going to take that from him. But it is what it is. We're going to go out there and race. Got to try and turn our night around. Going to work on the car in this break and try and get the car faster so we can work our way to the front. So see if we can get to his back bumper.
You can hear it. He wants to get back to Stewart's back bumper. This is going to get exciting.
Joachim, what I can tell you, I still have chills because we were just feet away from that altercation and we could barely believe what we were watching. But here's what I can tell you with certainty, because I've heard it from Ernie Francis Jr.'s mouth. Last year, this series changed his life. It was an unbelievable break. His family is truly living in the glory of what this means and how things are unfolding for him. Here's that story in Ernie Francis Jr.'s own words.
Ernie Francis Jr. in the yellow car on the outside. Stunning slide.
Ernie Francis Jr. making history.
What a great pass. The new leader is Ernie Francis Jr.
Things were better than I ever thought they could have been after the SRX season last year. It's been such a good stepping stone for me in my career to be able to make the jump to where I want to go. I won a lot in Trans Am, but it really didn't put me anywhere near the map of what SRX did for me.
An SRX Series checkered flag for Ernie Francis Jr. at Indianapolis.
Good job. That whole night was just a blur. All the responses coming in after the race. I got followed by Dale Jr. for the first time on Instagram. That was making me freak out. That's been like a dream come true. That night has changed a lot going on in my life.
I think that was another highlight of the year, having young guys like Ernie Francis that we had in the series that are so talented and just need one little break to make it to the big time.
Ernie's a great young man. He's obviously very talented behind the wheels. Cool to see him winning and running up front, and that propelled him to some opportunities that I don't think he would have gotten otherwise.
I got a phone call just after the SRX season ended. It was from Roger Penske. He wanted to meet with me. I had to pinch myself. I thought it was a prank or something. I didn't think it was real. Met with him, and here we are. I'm racing Indy Lights for his program with Force Indies.
Being a part of the SRX series is one thing, but getting a call from one of the greatest American racing car owners in the world, if not the greatest, says a lot about who's paying attention.
People call Roger 1,000 times a day to ask for something, When he calls you, that's a big deal, because he's not calling just to shoot the breeze. He's calling because he's interested in you.
Giving him that opportunity to move up in his career, that's something that all of us at SRX are proud of, that we gave him a platform that helped build his career and give him the next step up.
Ernie Francis Jr. has his sights set on IndyCar, but right now he's got his sights set on getting ready to get back in that race car and head out for the main event, guys. Obviously, he would love to be standing in victory lane at the end of this. This racetrack has seen winners among the likes of Dale Earnhardt, Cale Yarborough, Darrell Waltrip, but there is so much more to this track than just that. Here you can find it in our Progressive at the Track.
South Boston is the town and the racetrack. It's a very small town, so the entire community kind of encompasses the racetrack.
South Boston Speedway is one of the most prestigious grassroots tracks because you know when you come here, you're going to be up against the best of the best in short track racing.
South Boston is a 4/10 mile paved oval. It's got about 12 degrees of banking in the turns, so not very steep, but steep enough to make for some good racing. And the most unique part of its layout is that the straightaways are very narrow. Instead of coming out of the turns and widening out, you actually come out of the turns and it narrows up. So it's a very interesting racing groove. It makes for a lot of side-by-side racing through the turns, and then they quickly narrow up as they come out, which usually causes some stripes and worn-out paint.
It's just a beast of a track, so I do believe that they will get tangled up every now and then, but that's okay because we like the excitement.
South Boston Speedway opened in 1957, August of 1957. This year is its 65th anniversary. It started out as a dirt track. After that, it expanded to an asphalt track. So it's had a ton of different cars race here.
The unique part of this is actually the cars that come through here, the competitors. We've had Denny Hamlin, Elliott Sadler, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been here and raced. We've had so many different types of racing here. It's just a place that people love coming to and watching good side-by-side racing.
Perfect. Patience and persistence is what you have to win here. Another jaw-dropping story of perseverance and adversity coming up after the break. We'll talk about Ryan Newman. And look, these two look like things are happy. What is up with that? We'll find out when we come back. Much more. The Camping World SRX Series on CBS.
Racers when they get behind the wheel.
Tomorrow on CBS, we'll take you to TPC River Highlands for the Travelers Championship. Our live PGA Tour coverage begins at 3 Eastern here on CBS. Matt Yoakum brought us the story of NASCAR driver Ryan Newman's car collection. The truth is, the fact that he's here to even tell it is shocking. In 2020, Ryan Newman got into an accident at the Daytona 500, the same event he won in 2008, and most that saw it anticipated the worst. Matt Yoakum, I know you were there. What's your take on his comeback?
Well, Lindsay, I think when you look back to that event, it was certainly one of the most emotional and gut-wrenching finishes to a Daytona 500 in decades. And I think NFL Hall of Fame coach Jimmy Johnson really summed up life the best that I've heard anybody. And he said QTL, quality time left. None of us know when that day will end up being, but fair to say, Ryan Newman knows he's in bonus time.
I don't remember any of it. I remember that weekend, I remember that morning vaguely, but no, from the time that the green flag dropped until I walked out of that hospital, it's deleted. It's gone. There's nothing to refresh, which amazes me because I have a lot of racing memories that I can go back to, but I can't go back to this one. I didn't know until afterwards when I went back and visited the people at the hospital that I was rebellious about putting shoes on. I didn't know it at that point that it came out in my socks, walking with my daughters in hands. But I'm so forever grateful for all the people that have given me what I have, which is what I had, which could have been taken away from me so easily. I'm not tuned into the social media world, but I was afterwards. It made me realize the impact of it. It's amazing how connected you are to people by doing what you do and love. Corey LaJoie hit me in the top of the door bar, the B post, kind of the A post, but also hit me right in the seat. So there's 2 bars in the car that are actually designed off of crashes that I've had. They added a bar because of the way the cage folded up. If you look, the cage has been cut off, but it actually folded too easy to the passenger side. So they added that bar after this crash. You can see where something pretty solid hit me right there in the seat. And that's right where my head was. In the end, the guy upstairs chose to release his hand and let my ticket drop back down, and he didn't pull it. It's just special. I mean, this is special for me, and it will always be special for me. To be able to be a part of my daughter's lives is priceless. My priorities always were my family, but now that's all they are. I knew how dedicated I needed to be to racing to be successful, and I use that same dedication to my kids to make sure that they have their lunches packed, to make sure that they're ready for everything. All the things that need to be done are a challenge, just as everything was a challenge before, but I just have taken that energy and focused it more 100% on them. Car just about took my life, but it also saved my life. It's really special for me to have this race car. I mean, yeah, it's junk. Like, it literally is junk. But it's special in lots of ways. It's a big part of my racing career. Not at all the highlight, but I was about 6 different kinds of lucky that day.
Nothing will ever top being a dad, and I'm a father, you're a dad to 2 beautiful girls too. This life reset, are you surprised even more every day how much you appreciate even making school lunches?
Yeah, it's pretty special to know what I went through, what everybody saw me go through, because I don't remember it. I mean, it's kind of a deleted moment for me, but to be able to get back behind the wheel and do the things that I do. My kids are with me last week in Pensacola for the first race, and that's how much more special when they're there to give me an ice cold water and make me feel better, and then I can pay them back and go to Ashland's dances and Brooklyn's outlaw car races and horse shows and things like that. Yeah, it's a reset, no doubt, but it's just a part of my life, and I'm happy and proud to be here to talk about it and do it.
All right, from a pair of dads, let's go down pit road to another dad. Willie, where are you? Who do you have?
I got Paul, Mr. Excitement, Tracy here, and there's a song by Nelly. It's called Hot Hot in here.
Yeah.
You and Elliot, you and Elio and Tracy and...
Elio. I'm going to call him Castro from now on.
Castro?
This guy loves to steal wins from me, but that's about as dirty as you could ever get. I drive rough, but that was dirty, man.
Well, it's called a main event. It's a main event coming up, and I can't wait for the dirty.
Well,
what happened there?
Well, the car was good. I mean, he just ran right over me, spun me around here. So I had a good car, sitting out front, pacing myself, and now we're just going to have to see what happens. You can see here, he just drove right in the back corner of me and turned me around. So, if I have a bad night, I'm going to be waiting for him.
Did he run out of brakes?
I don't know if he ran out of brakes. He ran out of brains, that's for sure. I got to get in the car.
I'll tell you. Lindsay, to you.
Thanks, Willie T. You got some trash talking before that main event. The Challenge USA is coming to CBS. 28 reality show legends from Big Brother, Survivor, Love Island, and The Amazing Race compete to see who has what it takes to be America's best. The Challenge USA Wednesday, July 6th, after Big Brother on CBS. We're getting ready for the main event, but it's been a crazy night so far. Take a look at this. We've got the action, yep, and then the aftermath. There you go. We think they've made up. There are some smiles as we see, but you don't want to miss what's going to happen next.
You've heard some great sounding cars.
Welcome back to the Camping World SRX series on CBS. We're on our southern swing that took us from Florida up the East Coast, and it's going to continue the journey to some of the most legendary short tracks in the nation. We will wrap our 6-pack of races on the dirt in Ohio, but next Saturday, the fireworks will fly in New England as we visit Stafford Speedway under the lights. And coming up next week, Justin Marks will be joining us at the track. Time now to get things set for the main event. As you see the overhead shot there of South Boston Speedway, the racers are ready to go, and now it's time to throw it back up to Alan Bestwick and Connor Daly. Guys, we've seen more action down here than I think we saw week 1.
I agree. I second that. And so here's my question. Between the two heat races, we had a combined 75 laps of racing in the heats. We got 100 laps for the main event. More than we saw in those 75 coming up?
I have never been more excited for a main event in my entire life. I am a full-time racing driver on the weekends sometimes, but when I'm not, I'm a big race fan, and I cannot wait to see what's going on here tonight. As a driver, when you get out of the car and someone hits you, it doesn't matter if it was my fault entirely, but it's always the other person's fault when you get out of that car. And we saw that between Tony and Ernie Francis, just some serious heat, and then probably 5 minutes later, Tony's like,
It might actually not have been as bad as I thought.
Yeah, laughing and smiling and saying, it's okay, let's go race in the main event. We're waiting for a couple of last drivers to get buckled in before we fire them up. Let's check downstairs again with Matt Yoakum.
Now, Alan, when you think of South Boston, Virginia, yes, it's beautiful countryside driving into the racetrack, but one of the most vacation spots of the entire country, Alphonse Ribeiro, you and your family are driving through on an RV vacation. Buddies with Marco right behind you there. You stopped in. We wish we could have got you a car.
I mean, listen, you put together a car for me. I get out there, I run around the back for a little bit, save my tire, see where it takes me. But yeah, my wife and I and the kids were on an RV trip around the country, and we do this every summer. And we're supposed to be at Marco's house today, so I figured I'd stay an extra day in Virginia and come to the race. I mean, listen, he's starting on pole. Maybe I brought him some good luck.
So Star Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that legendary show, Dancing with the Stars. More importantly, race fans go, that's the guy that's not once, but twice, the Toyota Pro Celebrity Race in 2 different categories, 4 times.
I run twice in 2 different categories. Four total wins there.
I mean, you are such a great race fan. Not only been a spotter in IndyCar with Brian Herta, so much racing history for you.
I've loved racing right from the very first time I got in a car and drove, and it's been awesome. I was a spotter. I was in the room with the guys. You were with us in there with Elio and Jill DeFerrin and Marco, and we were talking about when I actually would spot for Brian Herta when he was with Walker Racing in IndyCar. And now I'm over there, I got a picture of me holding Colton Herta when he was 2 weeks old. But I've loved this sport. I watch every race, every weekend. I get up at 5 a.m. LA time to watch Formula One, so I'm that hardcore.
All right, well, get ready. Your buddy just pulled off. The action's going to be rolling here. E-ticket. Get ready to get punched soon.
Marco is quite the entertainer. He had Connor Daly at his house last week. He's got Alfonso Ribeiro coming this week. I mean,
he upgraded.
Marco's
clearly.
the guy.
Yeah. He upgraded to Alfonso Ribeiro. That's respectable. And speaking of punches, I am very surprised that Paul Tracy did not walk down that pit lane and punch Elio directly in the face. So I am very excited to see how that works out as we get back to racing. But he's got a lot of work to do.
Well, I'll tell you, we'll turn our attention away from Paul for the moment and talk to the guy who just won heat race number 2. It's the least you can do for him after, he hosted you at his house this week.
Marco Andretti, it's Connor Daly, your friend up here in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, they're talking a lot right now, but I got you.
Well, don't worry. What we're saying is definitely most important. You're starting on pole. Excellent night so far. Are you feeling good about how the tires have played out for you? And are we getting ready to go here for a win?
Yeah, I'm a little worried about my buddy Tony Stewart. He's pretty upset with me and a couple other guys. So I think I just got to stay clean. We have the pace.
Ain't no friends out here tonight. Good luck, man.
Copy that, bud.
Marco Andretti starting on pole for our main event tonight. So starting lineup coming across the bottom of your screen. Average finishing position in our 2 heat races tonight. Marco with a 2nd and a 3rd gets pole position with Tony Stewart alongside him. And we're 1 lap away from the green flag.
For as mad as Tony Stewart was, he's still on the front row. So that's looking great.
Our progressive race analysis. There's how it's unfolded so far. Interesting flip and flop between the NASCAR and IndyCar drivers as far as success in the 2 heats. And now we go 100 laps. Caution laps count until we get to the final 10. Got to have 10 green flag laps to finish it. It's Andretti and Stewart as this crowd comes to its feet for the green flag of the SRX main event.
Start by both guys on the front row, super even into 1 and 2. Gonna battle it out here into 3 and 4 as well.
Greg Biffle lurking there with the gold card in 3rd. Bobby Labonte and Ryan Newman sliding a little bit sideways off turn 4 as they race side by side.
No new tires for this final main event tonight like we were supposed to have in Pensacola, but everything got quite warm and wore out very, very quickly.
Tony Stewart edges in front of Marco Andretti and grabs the race lead. Newman still working to the inside of Bobby Labonte.
Tony Tony is going to be very hard to unseat from the lead with how angry he's been tonight, and he's clearly taking no prisoners. His good friend Marco Andretti, that was cleaner than I expected it to be, but I can't wait to see how he continues to lead here.
You can work up quite an appetite driving one of these race cars as you look at our Whoop Live. Calories burned.
Well, I can promise you how they're going to refill those calories later, and it's not food, and it's definitely going to be beer. Maybe Michael Waltrip's beer.
Well, by the way, somebody, we do pay attention to the social media. Somebody asked, how is Michael Waltrip sponsoring Helio Castroneves' car? Michael and some associates have a beer line out, and they have a tap room, actually, here at South Boston Speedway.
And I promise I will be visiting it later. I can't wait to try the Michael Waltrip Brewery here.
There's the Castroneves car with Michael Waltrip Brewing on its side. Michael will be happy when he watches the race replay. First is Tony Stewart. Marco Andretti is second. Greg Biffle is third. Then Bobby Labonte still managing to fend off very determined Ryan Newman. Now, Newman's car under the 20-minute break between the second heat and the main event, they put a new right front tire on that machine from some of the contact and bouncing off other people he did as he worked his way forward.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people can notice a lot of the writing on the tires of these Goodyear tires have been rubbed off because, well, everyone's hitting each other. So as soon as those little words go away on the side of the tire, it could be damaged. And so obviously Ryan had to get a new one.
Tony Stewart moving up and using that outside line. That's tempting Marco Andretti, who's looked inside him a couple of times for the race lead.
And that's a very, very smart move by Tony. Using a higher line can sometimes save your tires, but also it's very difficult for the guy underneath you to try to make that work unless he forces the door like that.
So Marco Andretti back to the race lead. Just 10 of 100 laps, now 11 as they come to the start-finish line. They click off the laps in a hurry here. They're running 16-second laps here at South Boston.
Tell you what, there's a little bit more contact, and these guys are really getting after it. But honestly, that was a little soft of Smoke there to let Marco go as easy as he did. So I think he'll have some payback here later.
The driver, Ken Schrader always said that. Of course, Ken serving as one of the SRX test drivers setting up all of these cars. He always said, you take markers in a race.
Yes, indeed.
And sometimes you cash them back in.
I can promise you, drivers never forget. But champions have short memories. Yep. Helio probably hasn't even remembered that he took out Paul Tracy right now. All he cares about is going forward.
Oh, I'll bet he's remembered.
He will when Paul feeds him the bumper.
He sees that lime green car around him, and he sure will.
I think we should probably talk to Tony Stewart. What do you think? He's been very kind to talk to us under Green Flag Motor Racing, and maybe he's going to be angry to talk to, which I can't wait for.
Okay.
Tony Stewart, it's Connor Daly up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, go ahead.
We saw the fire out of your eyes after the heat races. Marco moved you out of the way. Are we going to be vacationing with him in the offseason now?
Oh, yeah. He's going to start paying for more of it, though. Normally finds a way to pass the buck to me, but he's doing good tonight. He can keep his thing together. He's going to be hard to beat, but we'll make it a risk.
It looked like you let him off pretty easy earlier. I'm sure you've got some more in store for him later.
Yeah, not my first go roping.
Well, I can't wait to see what you got in your bag of tricks. So we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, feel free to chime in anytime.
I love Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart in second place. Yeah, and it's just, for him, yeah, what do you want?
A casual conversation at 161 beats per minute. That is a very high heart rate. These drivers are working extremely hard. These absolute athletes out there. It's impressive.
Our Whoop Live, monitoring real time from the race car. All right, Stewart with a little look underneath Andretti. Things kind of settled in line behind them back through the top 7 or 8. Here he goes, all 4 wheels on the apron, looking for a little grip to make a run.
Major line change there from Tony. I think he's just basically trying to figure out what he can use later in the race. We've got a lot of laps to go. How quick is he going to be able to get off that corner and get underneath Marco?
All right, so put me behind the wheel. You're Marco. You see Tony do that. Does it affect you?
Well, it didn't work, so I guess he can be pretty happy about that. But when you're in the lead, it's tough. I mean, you're trying trying everything you can to be smooth, because one tiny mistake, you know these guys will take advantage of it. And it's always best to be out front because you've got nothing ahead of you. But once you make a tiny mistake or get hit in the rear by Tony Stewart, then you're a victim.
Better to have the lead than to want the lead.
I love being in the lead. I promise you that.
Yes, sir.
Just a nice friendly tap.
Just a little let you know I'm still here, in case you forgot about me.
We can see all the Goodyear rubbed off the left front of Tony's car already, so he's had a lot of contact tonight, but I don't think there's any drivers who haven't hit anyone yet.
It's pretty tight quarters here at South Boston Speedway. So it is Andretti, Stewart, Biffle, Labonte, Newman. Those are your top five. Then Castroneves in sixth. All right, there's the caution flag. Fun flag. And they'll double them up for a restart in just a minute. Quarter distance through our main event on Superstar Saturday night tonight at South Boston Speedway. Marco Andretti and Tony Stewart trade a little paint up front.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years. I thought new phones were for new customers. We got iPhone 13s too, switched to Verizon 2 minutes ago.
Ours were busted, and we still got a shiny new one.
Check it out. So wait, everybody gets the same great deal.
I think that's the point.
Now everyone can get a new iPhone 13 on us on America's most reliable 5G network.
Can I have a phone?
For every customer, current, new, everyone, to show the love.
Okay, this is a freezer, not a time capsule. Sometimes the house itself can tell you how a young homeowner is turning into their parents.
Not those two.
Yep, they're gone.
Forever?
Yep.
That there is Progressive's Home Quote Explorer website where I compared home insurance rates.
We don't need to print the internet. Some are beyond help. I will give you $100 if you can tell me what this is.
Scotch egg.
It's a meatball.
Progressive can't help you from becoming your parents, but we can help you compare rates on home insurance with Home Quote Explorer.
We've got a lot of work to do.
This is Frank. He runs a sustainable camping supply business. He's smiling because FedEx is growing its fleet of electric vehicles. And these are the Camper Scouts, earning their Eco Badge. They're sharing this news to their global Scout community, which, unexpectedly, has made Frank quite popular. So it's a good thing Frank uses FedEx to help him expand his reach and make Earth a priority. FedEx, where now meets next.
COVID-19. Some people get it, and some people can get it bad. And for those who do get it bad, it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, asthma, or smoking. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, don't wait. Ask your healthcare provider right away if an authorized oral treatment is right for you.
Camping World SRX Series at South Boston, Virginia, located between Richmond, Lynchburg, and Greensboro in the south central part of the Commonwealth. Racing here for 65 years, and tonight the superstars are here, and Marco Andretti is our race leader. Marco with the win at Slinger, Wisconsin, an SRX competition last year, and a little Marco racing history. On this date in 2011, Marco won the IndyCar race at Iowa Speedway.
I love to see it. I was not there, but I do remember watching on television. Marco is such a talented guy, and also one of the best dudes that I think I've known in my career. He even sponsored me when I was 23 years old, trying to get into IndyCar, getting a test. Marco sponsored me with his own money to help me get one of my first IndyCar tests. So really cool deal from Marco.
It's fun, and he has certainly enjoyed being behind the wheel of these SRX cars last season and this.
Absolutely, because he can get right home tonight on his private airplane and get straight to the bar, and I respect it.
Okay. Restart coming in 2 more laps. Paul Tracy has been on the pit road under this caution flag. His car not making a whole lot of progress in this main event after getting spun around in the heat race a little while ago. So it's Andretti and Stewart side by side for the restart. Then it'll be Greg Biffle and Bobby Labonte in row number 2. Ryan Newman will have Helio Castroneves to his outside in row number 3 as they come to the start-finish line and get the signal. One more lap, and we'll go back racing.
What did these guys learn from each other? What did they learn from each other on that first stint? And who's going to send who first into the wall?
You're anticipating that.
Oh, I for sure am. I am so pumped to see someone get absolutely drilled on one of these restarts because it's definitely coming. It's not a question of if, it's when.
Pace cars off. This big crowd back on its feet, making some noise as they come for the restart.
Biffle has, I think, had one of the best races so far. He's been sneaky, but he's right there in third, and he was quick in the heats too. So I'm excited to see what he can do as we wind these laps down.
Stewart with a good run off of turn number 4 on the top side, takes the lead and tries to shut the door on Marco Andretti.
I think Marco's going to have to get up to that top side to see what that feels like because later you might have to use it if you're trying to go side by side for the win.
Inside of the body right behind them for third.
Oh, another crash in the back. Paul Tracy just got fendered into the wall.
Caution flag is out. That is a hurt race car. Look at that. Hunter Ray.
Paul just a victim here yet again. Hunter Ray almost losing it. And then as soon as that contact happened, the left front on Paul's car is broken and he can't control it, and into the wall he goes.
Man.
Don't go to Vegas with Paul anytime soon. Goodness gracious, he couldn't buy luck. That is a tough hit, honestly. No safety barriers around here. A little bit old schooler track. Yeah, once these cars get sideways and they get next to each other, it's hard to kind of drift both cars like we saw Helio do earlier, and that's a shame to see for Paul for sure.
Yeah. So the AMR safety team pays Paul a visit, and the SRX crew has some work to do to get that car ready for next week's race on Saturday night in Stafford Springs, Connecticut.
Yeah, they might have to change everything but the color on that thing to get it ready for next weekend.
And with the luck he had tonight, he may want him to change the color too.
Yeah.
You know?
Full rebrand for Paul next weekend.
Yeah. Well, Paul's loving being part of this SRX series, and he doesn't shy away from the bad boy role and the aggressive reputation that he has on the racetrack, but he has not had a lot of fun tonight here at South Boston. Ryan Hunter Ray's car is all torn up on the right side also.
Yeah, when you see these cars sliding into each other side by side like that, these body works are sharp and they can cut tires down quite easily.
So PT out of the car, they work on the Hunter Ray car, and we work the caution flag at lap 38 of 100. Pretty good fight up front between Andretti and Stewart. Pretty hard hit in back for PT. Yeah, ooh, that one hurt.
Eliminating grays is as easy as combing your hair. With Just For Men Easy Comb in Color. Just twist and comb. Getting natural looking results.
Let's get this meeting started.
Has never been easier. The most men trust Just For Men.
Hi, welcome to Sonic. May I take your order?
2 Sonic grilled cheese double burgers.
I'm on it. Order up.
Sonic grilled cheese double burger, ready for pickup.
Our passion for protecting vehicles started in 1934. And we've been pushing the limits of performance ever since. We innovate with the times and have the trusted filters to fit your needs. Yeah, we've been around the block, but our journey is just beginning. Fram for the road ahead. Look for us at these retailers.
URV to escape. Escape the humdrum of daily life. Escape your routine. Escape to your sunnier side. At Sun Outdoors, you're free to do, well, anything. Free to drift here, or splash there. Free to turn happy hour into nature hour, and back to an even happier evening. There are over 150 Sun Outdoors resorts. Escape to your sunnier side at any one of them.
So, people can get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 when they trade in a Galaxy. Any year, any condition.
Oh, I get it. So you can take your old phone that you've had for 12 years and loved every minute of and trade it in for something new that suits your life now?
That's right, yeah.
Then enjoy immediate success, even though you'll never forget your old phone, ever.
It's a great trade.
Life-changing.
Get a free Samsung Galaxy S22 with any Galaxy trade-in. Any year, any condition. Only at AT&T.
Under caution here in South Boston in our Superstar Saturday night, getting Paul Tracy's car moved away from where it had come to rest, which was not in a safe place for us to resume racing. Ryan Hunter back on the racetrack after a visit to pit road for some crash damage repair.
Yeah, it looks like he tried to get in a little bit too hot underneath Peyton Sellers there, and that'll happen. You had to use the other car as a brake, which when you hit that other car, that's only on your right front, and when you're already halfway crossed up, it's so easy to lose the car when you take quite a hit to that right front. So tough to see for Ryan.
And if you're a regular fan of racing and you expect to hear, about spotters and things like that, just remember at SRX there are no spotters. You are on your own inside that race car,
and that is wild because I love my spotters. They're the most trusted people in motorsport. They're keeping us on the straight and narrow path in these races, and it's pretty wild that these guys don't have them.
All right, one to go, and we'll get ready to go back racing with Marco Andretti in orange and Tony Stewart in red. Still double wide on the front row. Biffle in gold, Bobby Labonte in white, in row number 2. And everybody on the racetrack except Paul Tracy will hear from PT in just a minute. First, though, we expect this restart to be kind of exciting.
I can't wait. This sneaky second row is looking real good, too. Greg Biffle and Bobby Labonte, I think, are just waiting to make their moves.
Here they come to the green flag.
Great start by Tony there. Getting clear of Marco. That's exactly what he needed to do.
Labonte tried to get to the outside of Andretti to pin him down low on turn 2 just. Couldn't quite get there. Now he's then more contact. Kanaan and Francis back in the pack.
I was going to say, Tony Kanaan's had a nice and quiet night so far, but here he is, wheel to wheel, banging doors.
TK trying to get to the outside of Castro Neves. Might have run it in there a little too hot.
Yeah, but you know what? That's good experience for later. He really tried to find out the limit of the outside there and how much grip he could find.
I talked with Tony and Elio as we watch Greg Biffle get clear of Bobby Labonte in third place. I have so much respect for these guys from the IndyCar world coming to these basically stock car chassis on short tracks. It's totally foreign to their experience in all their racing careers. And not only feeling it out, but doing it well, like we saw last Saturday night when Kanaan and Castro Neves raced for the win.
Absolutely. I mean, we as IndyCar drivers are used to very stiff, very low cars, a ton of downforce, and there are essentially no downforce in these cars, and very soft chassis. So quite a different feel out of the car.
Well, an IndyCar guy who's not had a fun night here tonight, he is standing by with Matt Yoder.
His car is back in the SRX garage. And Paul Tracy, every Sunday, Paul, your critique of your performance and everybody else's, how are you going to describe tonight's action for you?
I mean, I don't know what was going on with Hunter Ray and Sellers were just like beating on each other, and Hunter Ray went completely sideways, and I tried to go around him, and then we got into each other, and I think my inside front tire hit his tailpipe, and it cut my tire down, and it just shot me into the wall. So man, I got beat up tonight. I was just trying to do my best.
You know, Alan, he said this year going in, the strategy was going to be maybe be a little bit less aggressive and be there to finish the score or trophy. He might need to ramp it back up a little bit. He got beat up tonight here in South Boston.
And not a fun night for PT here in Virginia. Pretty good fight up front. Marco Andretti and Tony Stewart trading paint, trading bumpers, trading the lead.
This has been a great battle, honestly. These guys are putting on a fantastic show for all the fans here. Andretti versus Stewart, I mean, that's two incredible names right there.
This is from Marco's back bumper.
Yep, classic bump and run. Marco trying to get the thing slowed up at the apex and just getting moved out of the way for Tony Stewart.
And while those two have messed around for the lead, Greg Biffle has closed in on Tony Stewart in third place. There are your top three. Bobby Labonte a couple of car lengths further back in fourth.
The track does does seem to be widening out a little bit, which is good to see for later. I mean, guys running low, guys running high, guys now sliding through the apex a little bit.
Watch Michael Waltrip in the blue car here with Peyton Sellers.
That is a wild ride. It's very impressive. Those guys all stay out of the wall.
Running in 9th place. Peyton Sellers is back in 11th. Talked with Sellers earlier today. He said, this SRX car drives nothing like his car that he's driven to dozens of wins here. Being in this race, so important to him. Peyton Sellers is the championship leader at Dominion Speedway up the road, and he missed the race there tonight that his race team is still competing in, so he could race with the superstars here in South Boston.
Well, you have to take this opportunity when you get it. I mean, this has got to be one of the most fun racing series right now to be a part of.
So again, watch here Andretti and Stewart.
Tony is just letting him know he's there, playing with him a little bit, getting him rattled, but Marco's holding on strong.
Greg Biffle is closed right in. Bobby Labonte had a little contact a minute ago with Ryan Newman, and that has allowed Helio Castroneves to get to the inside of Newman and grab a spot. Here comes now Stewart to the inside of Marco. More contact.
And that was exactly what Stewart needed. He used the bumper just to get him crossed up enough, and now Marco's going to get freight trained by Greg Biffle as well. That's the ultimate worst thing that could have happened there. But here he goes.
Look out.
No.
And around he goes in front of the pack.
Oh, the old chrome horn just didn't work out that time.
Trouble in turn 4 as the race for second place went sideways for Marco Andretti.
It is so easy as a driver. When you get moved out of the way like Marco just did, you want to come right back against these guys and show them who's boss. And sadly, it just didn't work out properly for Marco there. You hate to see it. He was having such a great night.
Yeah. And the front end on that thing may not be all aligned properly anymore either from looking at that right front tire.
Yeah, we saw Greg get the move done, but when Greg fired it down the inside there, Marco had a great opportunity to come back underneath him, but that was brave, and I'm glad everyone else avoided him as well.
Good save by Biffle.
Really good save by Biffle. You saw him straighten the car out, lock the brakes a little bit to get her tied down, and everyone else missed Marco.
Watch Castroneves, first Bobby Labonte, then Helio Castroneves, white and red cars here. Watch them miss Andretti's sliding car.
Well, they both are past the age 40, but they got lightning reflexes.
At real speed.
It's impressive, actually, how quickly Marco got that car turned. And maybe we should dial up Marco to see what happened. Marco, it's Connor Daly up in the booth. You there, buddy? Marco, you got me up in the booth here?
Yo, I got you there talking.
So what's going on, man? You've been fast all night. People are using the bumper aggressively. How are we going to get back to the front?
You just said it, bud.
Well, I'm certainly going to be watching for you tonight, man. It's been a great night. I have faith in you. Let's go to the front.
Yeah, gonna try.
I can promise you that as an unhappy racing driver. I'm sweating after just having that conversation.
And Marco's crew chief down on pit road also maybe chiming in on the radio trying to...
we appreciate Mark. I'm going to write him a thank you letter later.
Will you?
Yeah.
Maybe more than that.
Yeah. Buy him 47 beers.
There you go. All right, so 2 laps till the restart. And as we approach the 3/4 mark of this race very quickly, now it's a whole new character that Tony Stewart has to deal with at the front of the pack, and that's Greg Biffle, former NASCAR Truck Series and NASCAR Xfinity Series champion, 51-year-old from the Pacific Northwest. Only raced a couple of races with SRX last year, did very well.
Yes, indeed. Greg Biffle was kind enough to let me use his motorhome for an Indy 500 one month of May.
I remember that because I was with you when you asked him about that, and he said, oh, yeah, that was you.
Yeah, I didn't think he actually realized that I was the one using it, but a very kind gentleman.
So, who do you think's been our driver of the night so far tonight? We're asking your opinion. Twitter.com's SRX Racing to vote. Voting is open now. Your thoughts, please.
I mean, honestly, my driver of the night's definitely been Marco. I mean, the most consistent in the heats. Sadly got into a bit of a scuffle there. But how do you not go with either Marco or Tony Stewart?
Because we still got like 33 laps to go in this, and there's room for that opinion to change right now.
The plot thickens.
Yes, it does. Biffle inside in gold, Stewart outside in red.
Tony Stewart did about 3 or 4 restarts alongside Marco Andretti. Now he's got a whole different person to battle, and he's known Greg Biffle a long time. They've done a lot of racing against each other.
Stewart with the advantage for now. Bobby Labonte looking for some running room as he clears Helio Castroneves for third.
We've got the NASCAR guys back to the front.
Oh, trouble. Car on the wall. Turn number 3. Michael Waltrip gets turned around and backs it into the outside wall.
That's heavy contact. You see the rear of that car is all kinds of messed up.
And got some help there from Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Yeah, what was odd about that is Michael already looked like he kind of lost it on the way in and then got assisted by Ryan Hunter-Reay. There's a lot of contact going on. And but Ryan just got into the corner. I mean, again, with these guys without spotters, it's so hard to tell when somebody's there or not there. And Michael slid up a little bit, opening the door for Ryan. Ryan lets him know that he's there. And then Michael tried to close it down just a bit. But when Ryan's nose is already there, as an American hero would, he's not going to back out of that.
Michael just put himself on the track in front of Ryan Hunter-Reay and has just tried to, actually, they're still going at it down the backstretch live.
Yes, it looks like they are wrecking each other under yellow. I don't really know what to say about that. Oh, just a classic, hey, buddy. Oh. Honestly, I've never been in this situation in my career, so I'm not sure what was going on there, but there are some very unhappy drivers tonight.
You drive an Indy car, you're not going to get into those kind of things with
true.
the race car. I mean, come on.
I mean, there's a couple times where I feel like that's going to be necessary, but here in SRX, we see everything. We've seen everything tonight.
Yep. Yes, we have. So Hunter-Reay is in 8th position, and Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, that's this is a Michael Waltrip I love to see. He's got a lot of emotion. He's obviously an incredibly talented and successful driver, but he made sure Ryan Hunter-Reay. I think he just ripped the right front off Ryan Hunter-Reay's car.
He used that one up.
Honestly, if we set up a boxing ring later and just let these guys have at it, it would be hilarious.
Short track racing on a Saturday night.
Yeah. And the Michael Waltrip Brewing Company is going to be well used tonight because sadly he's going to be one of the first guys there.
He may not be done expressing his opinion either.
I mean, look, if he throws a helmet or two, I wouldn't be surprised. Sparks are flying. The tires are flying off that thing. He's got no rear end left on it. Look at him staring down the mirror. He's not looking forward at all. It's like, where is the American hero, Ryan Hunter-Reay? That might have been the most aggressive under yellow driving I've ever seen.
All right, Matt.
Well, we've got Michael Waltrip. 2 laps to go before we're going to go green. Take a look at the video real quick. What happened from your vantage point, Michael?
I got dumped, just halfway down the back. He got into me and never let me go. So, I just don't understand how that could happen.
Here he goes.
That's one hit. That's cool. And then he just keeps into me. And so, he's going to hear from Uncle Mike.
Yeah, Uncle Mike already gave him one message on the track. What's the second message going to be?
We're not having a beer together, A. But B, that's just not right. That's not how you race. And I didn't want to tear up his car. I just wanted to send a message. So hopefully message received, but I'm going to wait around and have a chat with him.
All right, well, Hunter Ray remains on track in 10th position, and we've still got 25 laps to go in this one.
I would love to be down there for that chat post-race. Two American absolute legends.
We can get you there. All right, coming to the green flag. Biffle inside, Stewart outside.
Massive jump by Tony there. Again, Greg Biffle playing it safe down on the bottom. He's trying to close the door on Bobby Labonte, but he knows he's there. These guys are getting closer and closer. That restart was definitely one of the closest I think we've had tonight because it's getting later in the race.
Stewart clears Biffle for now. Labonte tries to follow around the outside.
And remember, Bobby Labonte has experience racing here. He's raced here most recently of anyone, and he knows how this track can evolve.
Bobby drives a Southern Modified Tour modified car. He raced here back in April in that machine. He's also got 3 NASCAR then Busch Series races under his belt. His place says first time he came here was 1986. Not as a driver then.
There's a lot going on in this pack right now. It is getting very aggressive. I just saw Ryan and Marco, teammates, start getting into each other. Marco's on his comeback tour. He's trying to make up space one lap at a time.
That's the view from the Biffle car in second. There is Ernie Francis Jr. Look to the inside as he completed a pass on Peyton Sellers. That's for 7th place.
And, you know, we haven't talked a lot about tire life tonight because there has been so many yellows. So under yellow, you have the opportunity to save a bit of tire. And can you be a little bit more aggressive on the restarts? Yes, absolutely. But we saw last weekend there were guys that hung around at the back that saved their tires for the last 10 laps, and it did pay off. Marco went from about 12th to 6th in 3 laps, and I'm just curious to see if that actually factors in here later as well.
Yeah, different place, though. Different night for sure. Tony Stewart, you're right on board with him. Tony actually has won here at South Boston Speedway before. October 13th, 2001, he drove a USAC Midget and won a 50-lap race here.
That's awesome. My boss, Ed Carpenter, raced here as well many years ago. Oh, wow, yeah. Ryan Hunter Ray's car is... well, it's going to need a new paint job. It's going to need a lot of body work. Might as well just send that thing back to the shop.
And Sellers looking to see if he can find a way around Hunter Ray.
We see the glowing brake rotors as well now. That's the brakes are getting heavily used here just to get the thing slowed up enough to get some grip in the apex. And I love night racing because we see those rotors glowing every time you go into 1 and 3.
16 laps to go. First side-by-side race in line is the 4th place. That's where Ryan Newman has Helio Castroneves to the inside of him for that spot, while Tony Stewart continues to lead.
Yeah, it's great racing right now. The NASCAR guys have found their way to the front. They are used to using their bumpers more than the open wheel guys are, and so, you know what? I'm not really surprised. Helio's got to lead the charge for us here towards the end of the race.
Helio's had a bit of a chaotic week. He was moving this week to a new home, and anybody that's ever moved knows how much that can make you pull your hair out.
Well, I can't afford a home yet, but someday I will, and I can't wait to move into one.
Okay, you moved to a new apartment. Same difficulty almost, right?
Let's hope so.
He was supposed to move, and things weren't finished, so the move hasn't been completed yet. So I don't want to call Helio Castroneves homeless.
Well, but yeah, the disrespect for the 4-time Indy 500 winner is a shame for sure.
Tony Stewart, 12 laps to go for Stewart. He has won your vote as our driver of the night. Almost half the vote coming in for Smoke. You've been around Tony for a lot of years.
Yes.
What makes him so good in almost any kind of race car he gets in?
Well, the interesting thing about Tony Stewart is I think a lot of us remember him as a stock car legend. Obviously won so many races, but like also an IndyCar driver as well. And he's driven everything. He's been good in everything. And I mean, he's just one of the names that in motorsport in general you probably know. There's not many people who are going to be like, Tony Stewart, never heard of the guy. So it's pretty cool to be at that level.
Bouncing back from the first finish in an SRX race that he had a week ago down at Five Flags Speedway in Florida.
Yeah, it's going to be real hard to beat Tony tonight. I mean, he's found the speed here. He's kept his tires underneath him, and it's kind of stretching out now to be one of those races where it might be tough to pass towards the end.
8 laps to go. For Tony Stewart, 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, 2-time Brickyard 400 winner, NASCAR Hall of Fame inductee. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway Hall of Fame has inducted him as well. And one of the 4 founding partners of the SRX series. Ernie Francis Jr., Marco Andretti, Ryan Hunter-Ray, 598 and 1. Hunter-Ray's car, I can't believe it's still running like even that well. As beaten up as it is.
Absolutely, and you can definitely tell Marco's been one of the fastest guys here tonight. I mean, he had to start at the back, made up a couple spots, but when everyone is this good and everyone is this close, it is very, very hard to come from the back in these races. Track position is king, some would say.
Marco finished 3rd in Heat 1 and 2nd in Heat 2, but got knocked around when he tried to come back on Greg Biffle, racing for the 2nd position a little while ago. Now Biffle in 2nd, trying to maybe backed off a little, conserve the little tire.
Oh yes, this is exactly what everyone wants to see. 4 laps to go, coming to 3 to go. 2 complete legends of America battling it out for the win. I can't wait to see what happens. I think Greg feeds in the wheel.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Well, he's only got a few laps left to do it.
The gold number 69 wagon is definitely not getting out of here without a bit of contact.
So 2 laps to go in our main event.
Is he close enough? Can he just get a run out of these corners to just get close enough? You can't completely wreck Tony, but man, I can't wait to see if he fires it in there.
White flag is out. Final lap here at South Boston. Looks like Biffle just cooled it down and tried to catch him, but couldn't get it done. The man on the night in SRX race number 2 for this season is Tony Stewart. Last year's champion wins it.
Great drive from Tony all night long. Such a talent. He was the most angry person I've ever seen after the heats, and now he's going to be the happiest person. There's only one happy person after a race.
He said he was going to show him how it's done.
He did it.
He just showed him how it's done.
I appreciate what you did there, buddy.
Is it a bad pun to say we've had some fireworks tonight at South Boston?
This might have been one of the most fun Saturday nights I've ever been a part of.
We tore up some stuff, that's for sure. Very entertaining evening. And we'll talk to the winner, Tony Stewart, when Superstar Saturday Night returns on CBS.
You see, son, with a little elbow grease, you can do just about anything.
Thanks, Dad.
That's right, Robert. And it's never too early to learn you could save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
That's right, Jamie. But it's not just about savings. It's about the friends we make along the way.
You said it, Flo. And don't forget to floss before you brush. Your gums will thank you.
That's right, Dr. Gary.
Jamie?
Sorry, I had another thought, so I got back in line.
What was it?
I can't remember.
This summer, dinosaurs are in our world.
Pet dinosaur? I'll take care of you. Nice and quiet. Hey, look, it's your mom. Hot dog? Can I get it Mike's way? What's happening? And your free sub. Enjoy. That was super weird.
Oh, that? Nah. You should just use the shore points you can now earn from chip and drink purchases to get free sub through the app. Download the Jersey Mike's app and earn rewards towards free subs with every sub, Pepsi, and Lay's you purchase.
Camp for less at Camping World. We're your one-stop shop for camping and RV supplies. Right now, we have camp chairs, buy one, get one 50% off. Grills that are normally $259, now just $179. And coolers for 50% off. Have fun at the campground with bikes for only $99. And Coleman Power Sports that are normally $799, now just $499. Plus, you can take home a brand new RV for less than $5 a day. Camping has never been more affordable. You always camp for less at Camping World.
Camping World SRX Series on CBS Sports is sponsored by Progressive. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. And by Camping World. Camp for less with Camping World.
Coming up next on CBS, 48 hours, a young woman disappears after a Snapchat rendezvous. The murder that inspired a law. How Nikki Story started a movement. 48 hours tonight, next on CBS. Let's take a look at our top three tonight in this SRX Series race at South Boston. Tony Stewart turning the anger into fuel and ending up on top. Greg Biffle following suit. Bobby Labonte working his way up to the field to finish third. But our Matt Yoakum is standing with the winner, Tony Stewart. Yoakum?
And Smoke, Tony Stewart jumped up on top of the roof, helmet still on, started pointing at the fans. What was the most satisfying part of the win tonight for you, for the show you put on for those fans?
Seeing these fans cheering when we got the lead every time. That's what kept the motivation going. It's not like I need much motivation, but when you got fans at South Boston cheering like that every time you get the lead, by God, you aren't going to let them down.
And Biffle started making a run there about 3 laps ago, started closing in. How concerned were you?
Well, I was worried we'd get a caution late, so I tried to just take care of them there, but I think back in my pace-off actually hurt me versus helping me. I thought I was trying to take care of it, and I think I was making some problems a little bit worse by not running as hard as it was earlier than that. But this thing was really good. When we practiced today, it rolled the corner really nice. It was a little bit loose off, and I was worried about it. I haven't been to South Boston since I ran a midget clear back in 2001 or 2 or something like that. So didn't know, couldn't remember the characteristics of what this track does when it cools off. But I was hoping it was going to tighten up, and it did a little bit, just not as much as we needed.
The 2021 champ takes his first of the year, Lindsay.
Thank you, Yoakum. Yep. Here's another look at the final results. We can say that we saw a little bit of everything tonight. South Boston Speedway did not disappoint. Short track, short fuses, tension that turned into aggravation on the track that played out into Tony Stewart winning it all. Next week, we're going to see you from Stafford Springs up in New England. But for all of us tonight, we want to say thank you for watching. For Alan Bestwick, Connor Daly,